The suspended state. When you have disentangled yourself from the influence of destructive pendulums, you acquire a newfound freedom. But if you do not have a goal to focus on, you can find yourself hanging in a suspended state. If you have neglected your goals being because of a preoccupation with defeating the pendulums around you or stopping their sway, you may end up in a vacuum. On the one hand, conflicts and concerns that previously haunted you fade. Arguments occur less frequently. Anxiety and worry gradually disappear from your life, and all without you really noticing it, like a storm that gradually calms and passes. This is all very positive, but you may discover a downside to this new state. Events that before had you at the center of things now carry on without you. You are no longer as important to other people around as you used to be, and so they pay you less attention. You have fewer worries, but as yet, no new desires have arisen to replace them. There is less pressure from the outside world, but that does not seem to be bringing you any dividends. You have fewer problems, but have not necessarily made any new achievements either. Why is that? The human environment is built entirely on pendulums. Therefore, when a person isolates themselves from these structures, they begin to find themselves in a kind of desert. The suspended state is therefore not much better than being dependent on pendulums. It is a bit like when children who have everything they could possibly want whine about the fact that there is nothing more to want. They are genuinely unhappy and drive everyone around them up the wall with their whining, because it is human nature to need something to strive for. Your freedom lies in being free from the pendulums of others. There are pendulums, however, that can be of use to you, and these are your personal pendulums. It is essential to recognize the goals you have been conditioned to chase after, which in fact lead you further away from your lifeline of happiness. The task is then to remain free and choose those lifelines on which true success and happiness await you. Pendulums do not necessarily have to represent something detrimental as long as a person is self-aware. It is never possible to be completely free of pendulums. The question is how to avoid being oppressed by a pendulum's influence so that you can consciously work them in favor of your own purpose. Transurfing offers the specific tools needed to achieve this. Even though it is not possible to free yourself from the phenomenon of pendulums completely, it is not entirely necessary that you do so. On the contrary, at the end of the day, it is pendulums that turn dreams into reality. Summary: a pendulum is created by the energy of a group of people thinking in the same way. A pendulum is an energy-based information structure. A pendulum maintains the thought energy of the adherent at its own vibrational frequency. A harsh battle for adherence takes place between the pendulums. A destructive pendulum forces goals onto its adherents that are not of their own making. A pendulum plays on human emotion, thereby catching the individual in their web. If there is something that you really do not want, it will appear in your life. To free oneself from a pendulum means to give it no place in your life. To give something no place in your life does not mean to try and avoid it. It means to ignore it. To bring a pendulum to rest, you have to change the established game script. Positive visualization will gently bring the swing of a human pendulum to rest. The energy of a stilled pendulum becomes available to you. Problems are solved by defeating or stopping the pendulum that created them. To solve a problem, rent yourself out. To avoid getting stuck in a suspended state, find your own pendulums. It is essential to acquire the habit of remembering what you know.